Good evening to all of you and welcome back. We took up the first and second parts of our talk, Goodbye to Anger, Frustration and Irritation. And in continuation to that, today we will be taking up Unit 3 and Unit 4. I'm sure all of you who attended the talk yesterday would have started getting some benefit out of the learning. So just to get a quick recap of what we discussed yesterday, let's have a look at the topics we touched. We talked about what are the, obviously we talked about anger, and we talked about what causes anger, the triggers. Triggers mean what bring up the anger, the effects of anger on health and relationships, our behavior and feelings associated with anger, the different forms of anger, which means the different ways in which the anger is expressed, aggressive, passive, or suppressive, the importance of thoughts and the different types of thoughts, which were quite a few: positive, negative, waste, necessary, elevated, powerful, weak, diffuse, focused. So these are the different types of thoughts we talked about yesterday. Freedom to choose our thoughts and the process of thoughts in how we proceed towards uh, reacting or responding to a thought. And the tools like affirmation, visualization, and letting go. If anyone has any sharings or questions, we can take that up at the end of the session today. And for now, we will move on to Unit 3, the Chapter 3, and I invite Sunil to carry on with the talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanna, for summarizing it very well about the first session. I just want to add one thing into that, which is a reminder to ourselves, which is very important. In the first talk, which was on the self-esteem, the theme was that we are all wonderful souls and we are all valuable souls. So that our self-esteem we are in our self-esteem. And the second theme, which we have begun with yesterday, it was that anger is my acquired habit. So anything which is acquired, so therefore I can get rid of that habit, and peace is my original nature, and I should be using peace to overcome or to conquer anger whenever any trigger or whenever any external stimulus arises. So yesterday we had just touched upon the surface of anger. So today we are going into depth of volcano. So what is under the volcano? So here in this section, we would be talking about the mind, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and what is the importance of intellect, how intellect plays an important role in terms of uh, supervising, or should say guarding our thought pattern, and what are the practical tools available to us to respond to the situation and to bring positivity in our thought process.
Like we compared anger to volcano yesterday, similarly, we can look into the depth of the volcano as well as the depth of the human consciousness. Inside the volcano, it's a fiery world. It's a chamber of fire. It's tumultuous where molten lava bubbles. The temperature is so high it can reach up to thousands of degrees, and there is a lot of rumbling and thunderous explosions taking place inside. But outwardly, it is calm. This is all happening away from the human eye. Similarly, there are, according to Sigmund Freud, there are three levels of consciousness. One is conscious mind, in which this includes thoughts, feelings, and actions which we are currently aware of. For example, if I'm having a meal, I'm conscious of what I'm eating and I'm thinking, oh, this is something very delicious. Let me find out the recipe and ingredients. The subconscious mind is the next. This includes thoughts, feelings, and actions which are not there presently but have taken place sometime before, and they are stored in my memory. And this is something like comparable to the hard disk of a computer hard drive, wherein I press a button and I get the required data. Similarly, I think of some incident of my childhood and it comes up in my mind along with the feelings that I had that time, and I can share it with others. Now the third part of the human consciousness is intellect, which gives me the power to discriminate, judge, reason, and make choices. Like the iceberg, a uh, uh, 10% of the iceberg is above the level of the water, but 90% is hidden below the level of water, which is not, one cannot see. Similarly, as far as the human personality is concerned, a large part uh, is hidden. No one can ever see. It is only a fraction of our personality that we exhibit to others. Now we need to tackle what is in our subconscious mind in order to uh, deal with anger.
Okay, so one of the tools which we had briefly touched yesterday about asserting ourselves. So there are three ways we had discussed yesterday. One is to address the anger in a revengeful manner, which we call it a painful manner, in a regressive way of addressing the anger process. Second was the passive, which we have shared it yesterday, and the third was the suppressive. So another alternative which is available to us is to assert yourself, which means we are not expressing our feelings, but at the same time we are addressing to the other person in a very non-abusive and non-violent ways. So just read out the definition of assertiveness. Assertiveness is a behavior which helps us to communicate clearly and confidently our needs, wants, and feelings to other people without abusing in any way their human rights. So it is an alternative to the aggressive, passive, and manipulative behavior. So the underlying three factors are: it should be non-aggressive, it should be non-violent, it should be non-abusive kind of thing. But what we want to achieve it, we want to achieve it a win-win kind of situation, and end result should be win-win, or fairness to me and fairness to the other person. So, so these are the qualities which are required in a person when he has to assert himself. So first is he needs to be honest and positive in his attitude and intention. Whatever his intention is there, he needs to be communicating it in a very positive manner and know what we want to ask it very clearly. We should be communicating it in a very clear way, that what is I would like to discuss about. Aim a win-win situation, which I already discussed, that it should not be a confrontation kind of an attitude. It should be, I mean, give and take. But we should be reasonable kind of expectation for me, and reasonable kind of expectation, fair to me and fair to the other person. Be prepared to compromise, because it's a negotiating kind of a situation wherein we need to be slightly in a flexible mold to give and take, to listen to the other person, and then see wherever it's possible for us to give something or the other, we should be able to compromise. Maintain your boundaries, but at the same time, we need to ensure that uh, I mean, I am what I need is also been communicated very, very clearly to the other person. Use I statements. I statements are to express your feelings, which means that whenever I want to express anything, I should say that I feel this way, I feel that way. So if I use this kind of I statements, the other person will feel that, okay, this person has actually feeling this way. So avoid criticism and blame. So there is no blaming game in this kind of thing, and there is no criticism is required. Listen with an open heart. The other person listening is very important. What other person wants to say, I should be able to give respect to that person and listen to it, and stay calm and composed and relaxed during the whole communication process. Vanna, you like to add any example for this?
To cite this with an example, I would like to say that let us consider the case of a mother and a son. The son wants a new phone. But what the mother says, she says that, okay, you will get the new phone. She is being assertive. She says, you will get the new phone, but you will have to learn to wait. In this case, she is not being timid. She is not being aggressive. It is, it is a middle path that she is taking. There is no blame. There is no criticism. There is no humiliating or proving who is right and who is wrong, but no beating around the bush. She's coming straight to the point with self respect, with confidence, staying calm. And being assertive means that there is short term discomfort but long term gain. And the outcome is usually positive for everyone involved.
Uh,
Can we have the next slide, please?
I just want to add something on this ways to assert yourself. Actually, in the office kind of environment, we find a lot of time there are reviews taken place, annual reviews, which we call it. So in some of the cases, the reviews are not very favorable. So if the person, the boss is given a very negative kind of a review, and the other person thinks that this review is not up to the mark. So what he can do is he can do his homework and then come prepared with an assertive kind of mindset, and then communicate it very clearly. Sir, I'm not very happy with the kind of review which you have done for myself. I feel that it needs a little bit of review, but without sounding too much of g- uh, disrespect to the person. It has to be very in a respectful manner, but you communicate your feelings so that he should be in a position to re-review your review. So if he reviews it and then you maintain your boundaries, if he has given you a certain kind of rating, say for instance, the rating he has given you C, and then you feel that the C rating is, I mean, you've done much more than to deserve C rating. So you can easily communicate to him, sir, I deserve, certainly I worked hard, and then you obviously give your report card to show your report card to him, which he may not have thoroughly seen it before reviewing you. So once you assert yourself in terms of your very clear communication, without sounding too critical or without sounding too without blaming any him, so he possibly may be in a position to I mean, improve your rating. And this usually happens if you are prepared yourself and if you assert yourself in a proper way, with a proper positive attitude. So I have seen in my own organization, so such reviews do get changed, provided the person present himself in a very assertive kind of situation. But on the contrary, if you do not have the guts to speak confidently and clearly to him, so you have to accept the whatever the rating has been given to you. So I just wanted to add a little bit on that. So coming to the next slide, just 1 minute. Satisfy your primary needs. So if anyone has gone through, I'm not sure, there is in management, there is a Maslow hierarchy of needs. So there are certain needs which are very, very important for any human being. And without those needs, the person these needs are just, these are primary needs. So as per Maslow's needs, there are basic needs, which means food, food, clothing, and shelter. These are basic needs which everybody needs it. Okay. And apart from it, there are safety needs, which means everyone needs to be protected himself. So therefore, the governments, if you see, they normally take care of your primary first two types of needs: food, health, and shelter, and your safety needs. So these needs, which are also the primary needs of a human being, are something that is required for our survival. Okay, so I'll just read out for you. So some of these primary needs are everybody needs to be valued, everybody needs to feel safe, everybody needs to feel significant, cared for, seen, heard, uh, respected. Belongingness is there. Loving and belongingness everybody needs is being treated honestly, treated fairly, trusted, loved, and held. So it normally said that whenever we feel that these are primary needs are not getting fulfilled, there is a tendency of person getting angry, or he feels that something is missing in his life. Padma would like to add some example
Yes,
in this.
as an example, you gave the example of your organization, or should I say the your management, uh, your this thing working experience. But I would like to cite an example from the education field. The student on their journey of learning, they what their primary need is the need to be encouraged and the need to be appreciated, but they are bound to make mistakes as well. So what the teachers normally do, they use the sandwich method. Sandwich method is also called the compliment sandwich. Herein they make three statements. First, the statement is something that the student did well. Second is something that the student can work on. And third, something again that the student did well. Now, the purpose of these three statements is that it softens the blow of criticism and it prevents the student from getting discouraged. So here the primary needs of appreciation and encouragement are being met.
Coming to the next slide, how the mind works. This is very, very important psychological tool with us to understand. Yesterday, we had learned the thought process. The thought is an energy. So mind is basically how does the mind work? So if you see here in the diagram, it's written that the mind generates thoughts, feelings, emotions, and desires. Okay. And what is the role of the intellect? Intellect, the role is decision making, judgment, discrimination, reasoning, and willpower. Okay. So here, if I cite yesterday's example of how the assassination attempt was made on Donald Trump, so the person Matthew, he has straight away used his thought uh, and then straight away came to action. You would have seen. So intellect element was bypassed. Okay, he did not use his intellect, which has a faculty of discriminating. It could have prevented him to take such an extreme step. It could have been resulted a devastating kind of thing. He eventually lost his own life with this kind of thing. So the point which I wanted to say is that the intellect factor is very, very important in the mind, because mind has a tendency to be, mind can be his own friend and can be his own enemy. So yesterday we have seen whenever he works in a positive manner, so what is the end result? End result is giving, loving, accepting, and detached. And whenever he uses, when his mind is not his friend, his enemy, so all vicious thoughts come to his mind. So when the vicious thoughts come to his mind, the role of intellect comes into place. It has the ability to discriminate in between and it intervenes. Okay. So therefore, intellect factor is very important. But here what happens is that when mind straight away instructs and it comes through either words or actions. So if the action is very, very uh, the action is repeated, then it goes into the subconscious mind and it becomes his memory. Okay, and through those memories, it again influences his mind, the conscious mind, which Vanna has in the first slide. She has initially touched upon it, that the conscious mind sometimes it receives the signals from the subconscious mind, and it operates like this. So, Vanna, would you like to add anything on this?
Yes, the as we mentioned before that the level we need to work on is the subconscious mind, and we need to find ways to transform the feelings that are in our subconscious mind in case we have anger and other negative emotions. So but only positive thinking in itself is not sufficient to overcome the strength of these feelings in my subconscious mind. We can experience this by having flare ups of anger. And to cite this with an example, I would like to give the example of a just imagine a can which is full of fumes. If you bring a lighted match close to the can, it will catch fire. And if the can does not have any fumes, and no matter how many lighted matchsticks you bring close, there will be no fire. So you imagine the can to be your subconscious mind, and the lighted matchsticks to be trigger, what we talked about yesterday. This precipitates our anger episode. So this trigger will have no effect if the subconscious mind is devoid of those negative feelings. So what we really need to work on is the feelings in my subconscious mind.
So just to add on to this, the importance of subconscious mind, sometimes our anger is hidden in the subconscious mind because we have repeatedly been angry. So these incidences have recorded in the subconscious mind. So therefore, even if we want to make a conscious effort to get rid of anger, but what happens that since the memories are recorded there, so any small trigger, when it happens, the subconscious mind gives a signal, and even the positive thought which we have thought about getting rid of that habit, we are not able to rid of it. So therefore, we need to work on the subconscious mind. The way we have developed habit and that habit has reached the subconscious mind, in a similar way we have to get rid of that habit from the subconscious mind. So therefore, when we had used in the yesterday slide about affirmations, so these affirmations, when we were saying that affirmations, it's required to be done when the subconscious mind is active. So we had said that it is before going to bed, uh, and before sleeping, and before we get up from the bed. So that those moments for 15-20 minutes, our subconscious mind is very active. So whatever we feed into the subconscious mind, so that gets recorded there. So in that manner, we are able to erase our negative memories, or the negative thoughts which we have accumulated over a period of time. So this is one of the methods which is available.
Thank you, Sunil. I think this is really important what you said just now.
So next is letting go. So another tool which is available to us, uh, let go. So letting go, what to let go? So obviously the recording which has been there in the subconscious mind, the feelings, the painful experiences, which always trigger whenever any kind of episode happens. So letting go involves releasing the feelings connected with our experiences from the past. We cannot change the past, but we can learn from it, uh, heal the pain, restore the peace of mind, and move on. I just reading it because this is very, very important for us to understand what letting go is all about. But it needs determination, courage, determination, persistence, and patience. So we need to have these qualities within us, because letting go is not easy. We need to challenge it. We need to persistently follow it up through various methods, and then it is possible to do it. So there are few. Would you like to add anything in this, or should I
Yes, yeah.
read first
I
and
would
then?
like to compare this to flying of a kite. We know that when the more we let go of the string of the kite, the higher it flies in the sky. Likewise, the more I let go of the negative burden of negative thoughts, waste feelings, negative thoughts, experiences from the past, the lighter I feel and the more higher vibrational energy I radiate. And we can practice this by practicing Raj Yoga meditation, wherein we let go our past mistakes, repentance, frustration, helplessness, anger, and other negative emotions, and we start feeling lighter. This is the real meaning of letting go.
So here in this slide, there are ways to let go. There's something, some of the steps which need to say. First of all, we need to acknowledge and accept how we feel. So this is very important for us to acknowledge it. Uh, and second is look at the past with an understanding. Sometimes we look at the past with the reaction kind of a mold, uh, because that time the understanding element was missing. So when we look at the past now with a little understanding, with using our mind, so we may find a different kind of answer. Express, release your feelings in a positive way. Uh, See the bigger picture uh, uh, rather than seeing the. Uh, I mean, when you say the bigger picture, which means let's not confine ourselves to the narrow-minded approach to solve the problem. There are various ways to solve the issues. Appreciate the lessons learned and benefits gained. Uh, be compassionate, merciful, forgiving, loving, and detach with yourself first and with others. This is the extremely important thing. Uh, we cannot forget the past unless we have, if you have a revengeful kind of feeling, we obviously will not be able to forgive and forget. So we need to see that these virtues or qualities which are part of our soul are in the emerged form. And remember, angry people are always unhappy people. So here, I was just a thought came to my mind. If you recall the history, in the very Second World War, you might have seen that this Hitler in 39 and 45, he wanted to conquer the entire of Europe. So he was a very angry ruler, very dictator kind of thing. So how he ended up his life? He ended up his life by shooting himself because he could not, he was a very egoistic person. He could not fulfill his ego. And therefore, he remained unhappy even till the end of this thing. So therefore, it just remembered me. So I thought probably to share it with you.
Now, the practical ways in which we can practice let go on a regular basis in our day-to-day life, I would like to mention a few of these. We can, if we are angry with someone, say, we can sit down and write a letter to them, uh, just describing how unfairly you were treated, how you, what emotions came to your, what emotions you underwent, and what you felt then and what you felt now, what you're feeling now. So after writing down, you simply tear it off, but at least that wave of emotion will be, you will feel released, you will feel to have let go of that negative emotion. Another way is to have an imaginary conversation. In order to practice that, you sit on a chair, and the person you are angry with, imagine that the other person is sitting on the chair opposite, and then you say whatever you have to say, and then after you are finished, you move down to the other chair and take their position, and you just imagine what they would have replied to you, and you answer back in that way. And after that is done, you come back to your chair and give your reply to what they have said just now. So in this way, you carry on the conversation, and there will be you will reach a time when there will be nothing more left to say, and you will find that usually the problem will be resolved. Now, another way of letting go is imagination. You or visualization. You imagine that all your negative feelings, all your negative emotions, thoughts, they are all filled in a bag, in a rucksack, and you pick up that bag and you put it on your shoulders. It is too heavy for you. It is so heavy, but you still trudge and go towards the bin, and you just somehow manage to chuck that in. And once it is in the bin, you have let go of all your negative emotions, and you walk away feeling light, happy, and free. Another way to do this is to sit down peacefully. This is meditation. You sit down peacefully, you go within, and you let go of your anger associated with incidents and situations from the past. And then another way is to you think of all the people who have made you angry. Okay. Now think that they are all standing in front of you in a row. You go in front of them and you ask for forgiveness. And after that, you tear the list up. Now, again, imagine that all the people, you make a list of all the people who you have made angry. First was who you have made angry, and second one who are angry because of you. Now imagine that those individuals are standing in a row in front of you. You go there, ask for forgiveness, and then tear the list away. And I think to be successful in these practices and really getting benefit out of these, there should be a strong and genuine desire to let go of my feelings.
So this we have, thanks for touching the topic of meditation. So the fourth, now we have concluded the third part of this series. So coming to the fourth part, so far we have discussed the physiological way to handle anger and the psychological way which we use the mind, intellect and subconscious mind. And now coming to the third most important part, which is the spiritual part. How we can, what is the role of spirituality in overcoming anger? So this is very important role. So here it comes to the field of meditation. So here we will be understanding what is our true nature. Who am I, basically, in this on an understanding of the effects of law of action, reaction, and in managing anger, and what are the practical tools available to empower the peace within the inner being. Okay, coming to the next slide. So what is spiritual intelligence? This is, I'll just read out first and then I will explain a little bit. So in the reading itself, it's self-explanatory. Spiritual intelligence is based on the understanding that each human being is not just a body. Okay. So there is a being in the body. Being means we may call it spirit, we may call it soul, we may call it, different names have been given in different religion. We may call it higher self, we may call it consciousness, we may call it eternal energy. So any name which can be given to the soul, seen as the source of our conscious willpower, qualities, and values and virtues. Uh, the body is an instrument through which it expresses these values. Okay. So say for instance, I am Sunil. The Sunil is the name of the body, whereas the being which is there is has to express itself, all its values through the body. Okay, so this is the brief introduction of spiritual this thing. Spirituality, further, it says that spirituality doesn't necessarily involve believe in God or it's in a particular religion. It does involve recognition, appreciating, and nurturing and empowering the inner being, which means our soul, and looking beneath the surface of life for its deeper meaning and purpose. So while we will go ahead, we will be explaining about all these concepts because there are different slides which have been there to explain all these things. So I move on to the next slide. We say the qualities of the soul. Just 1 minute. We say the qualities of the soul. So what are the qualities of the soul? The qualities of the soul are love, happiness, uh, purity, power, uh, reflecting in the innate. These are our innate nature, which we call it. These are available to every human being, which means these are the qualities of the being which is available to all of us. So anger, second is anger is an acquired habit and therefore it can be removed. So time and again, we need to emphasize on this point that anger, I have acquired it. It is not my original nature. So therefore I can take steps to eradicate this habit. The more we turn into our original qualities, the less room we have for the to be angry. Okay, so the more I tune myself, therefore, initially when we started the conversation, started the first chapter in the self-esteem, it was based on inside out. So once I connect with my inside, with my inner qualities, so I can deal better with the external stimulus whenever the anger comes to me. So we need to give ourselves the time and space to nurture our inner peace through our whatever means we can use it, either prayer, either contemplation or meditation, or we may go to walk, maybe going for a holiday, any whatever it suits. So we may go into we may take any steps to deal with anger kind of situation through these methods. Vanda, would like to add any examples
Yeah.
on this?
Yes, just to emphasize again that we at Brahma Kumaris, we understand that we all possess five basic positive qualities, which are joy, love, peace, purity, and wisdom. They are present in all of us, but in different proportions. So that is why we find someone has a very good sense of humor and someone is naturally calm. Say, in the case of Mother Teresa, she was full of love. She had all the qualities, all the five basic qualities, but it was love predominantly. And in the case of, say, Gautam Buddha, uh, all five qualities were present, but the proportion of peace was high. So we need to inculcate and we need to polish and bring forth these positive qualities in us. When we talk of law of action and reaction, what we mean is the law of karma, the karma philosophy, which I'm sure all of you are aware of. The first thing that it says is, I reap what I sow. So I sow a mango seed, so what I get is mango fruit. I sow thought, what we talked about yesterday. I have a thought, I I water it with attention, and what I get is action. And the second point it says is, I get back with equal force what I gave out. So say I get angry at someone. Now anger is a negative emotion. When I give out anger, which is a negative emotion, what I get back is negativity in the form of uh, ill health, in the form of physical repercussion, physical effects, negative effects, and emotional negative effect. Now, a true understanding of the law of karma gives me the courage and determination to break this cycle. So, we can achieve by putting a full stop, letting go, responding rather than reacting, what we talked of yesterday, by sending out good wishes. So, these positive actions can break this cycle. The law of entropy. Law of entropy states that everything goes from new to old, from order to chaos. Now, when we see the law of entropy, we entropy actually means something that is full of energy. The energy gets depleted and it becomes um, not full of energy but depleted of energy. So everything loses energy over time. This can be physical energy or spiritual energy. Now everything new, my new clothes, over a passage of time they become old clothes. My drawer which was in order, after a few days it gets into chaos. The another part which is another point which is not mentioned here is that from essence, from seed, everything moves into expansion, which is the plant. So this means that everything is losing energy over time on the physical level. Originally we were pure, peaceful, loving and soul conscious, but over time we have depleted in energy, and we identify from soul consciousness, we identify ourselves with body. Like Sunil mentioned just now, he is not Sunil actually, he is the being, he is the soul. So because of the depletion in our spiritual energy, from giving, positive and love based, we have become taking, negative and fear based. To cite this with an example, on the physical plane, let us talk of a mobile charge we use every day. Uh, we start with a day with 100% battery, we use it, the battery gets depleted and it goes on to zero, and just before zero I start looking for somewhere, where is the charger, oh let me find the charger, and then I find the charger and I need to plug it to a source. I plug it in, put my mobile on, and the battery goes back up to 100. Now in the same way, when our spiritual energy is going down, we recognize this in our subconscious mind, because the memory is there that my energy, I was full of energy before, but now it has gone down. So I start looking for ways to return to my original state where I was full of energy. And this, for an example of doing this is to practice Raj Yoga meditation, and we can achieve this goal. Here we practice meditation, and before practicing meditation, we from body consciousness, we become soul conscious, and we connect to the unlimited source of pure spiritual energy, the supreme soul. We call it the supreme soul, which is the unlimited. There is no limit, and absolutely pure source of energy, like our charger. It is connected to the source. Here our battery, our uh, battery of the soul is connected to the supreme soul, and thereby by practicing meditation we let go, be at peace with ourselves and other, and our battery gets charged.
Fantastic. That's beautifully explained. So just to add on to it, I think this diagram is very good. So if you see that on the x-axis, the time is there, and the y-axis, the power is there. So with the passage of time, the power is getting depleted. And if you see, the very interesting emoji is there. So when on the left hand side, the time was at the zero axis, the person was shown in a very happy, as a very happy person in the this thing, which means the power of the soul is full. So therefore, he was contented, he was happy. So as the time passes, his soul level of energy depleted, and then you probably might have seen that there is an arrow which going up, and then it's showing the symbol of the higher source, where which we normally call it, we can call it God, or super consciousness, or whatever name we can do it. So which is ever pure, which is unlimited, ever loving, ever powerful, ever blissful. So when we our own energy level depletes, so we obviously need some source where we can go, reservoir where we can go and fill ourselves. So here you can see the emoji is showing very sad. So he's very stressed out, or you may say that depressed kind of scenarios there. But the soul energy is not fully depleted. It is depleted to some extent, but it is not yet reached at this level, at the touch the zero degree. Some degree is there. So therefore, when person goes and connect with this, where what she said, that Raj Yoga meditation, when we connect with the higher supreme soul and draw energy, because there is that's a total source where we can go and replete our energy level. So coming to the four spiritual diseases, we have seen that physical diseases, uh, uh, in terms of, if somebody is having a high blood pressure, there is a possibility, if that blood pressure stays for a very longer period of time, there is a possibility of his getting either a heart attack, or maybe some brain stroke, or something like that. There is a possibility. Or if somebody is having a diabetic kind of situation for a very long period of time, there is a some harmful effects on the body are expected. Similarly, we diagnose the disease and then we treat the disease. So at the spiritual level, there are four particular diseases which are described below: lust, greed, attachment, and ego. Why they come? Because they come because in the previous diagram, if you see here, the soul level of energy is reduced. So these diseases attack the soul. Uh, our spiritual level. So, what are these? Lust. What do you call it? Lust. Lust is, you might have heard that people are lustful for power, lust for money, lust for name and fame, lust for title, or lust for uh, humans, be it a male or the female. So, this basically takes control of our mind. Okay. So I'm not going to examples, because Vanda is going to be sharing the examples. And the greed equally. Greed is when I accumulate more than what my need is there. Okay, so that also immediately attacks my intellect and bypasses my intellect, I should say. Attachment is when I am attached with the outcome, or whether I'm attached with the people, or I'm attached with my own ideas or objects. So either myself or attached with my feelings. So this also brings the insecurity or anxiety kind of feeling within myself. And ego, we all know, is a comparative state of being which focus on my own needs. Egoistic person will always say that, okay, I'm right, you're wrong. He will always consider his opinion better than the other ones. So, which are detrimental to the his own self as well as to the others also.
To cite some examples, as lust is described as extreme passion for a person, money, power, etc. There is another factor of lust, and it is quite amusing. It is called wanderlust. And here there is extreme passion for traveling. That's why it is called wanderlust. So, coming to greed, uh, in a child, you would see greed in the form of taking all the cookies from the jar, and in adults, greed in the form of not paying income tax. And there are classical examples of greed in English literature. Most of you would have heard of Scrooge from A Christmas Carol. He was a greedy person. And Shylock from The Merchant of Venice, classical. And then attachment, something in life we can't do without it. And immediately what I thought was, oh, my mobile, can't do without it. Even for a few minutes, if I don't see it, I get restless. Oh, where is it? Where is it? So this is an example of attachment. And then to an object, it could be to a person as well, to your spouse, to money, to status, anything like that. Ego, now we see ego is a sense of self-importance. We say this and this person has got an inflated ego. Film stars, look at film stars, their ego sky high, because they know that they are being worshipped. They are so full of their own self. They know they everyone appreciates their physical experience, their skills, and so this gives them a feeling of self importance. The politicians, they have high egos because they know that they have extreme power, and they have a hold over a lot of people. So that is ego. So these are the few examples.
Coming to the most important chapter, which since our powers have reduced over time, which we have seen in that diagram, so we need powers. Okay, so the issue here is that since we cannot change circumstances always, we cannot change situations, we cannot change, it's very, very difficult to change people also. So what we can do is we can only change ourselves. That's also difficult. I'm not saying that's easy to change ourselves also, but definitely we can take steps, because my life is in my control, but I cannot control the life of someone else in a way. So therefore, when I say that I need to change myself, the change starts from me. So I need powers. Okay. So in Raj Yoga meditation, when we meditate and when we take knowledge, so these powers we develop within ourselves. So these powers are required for us to face any kind of situation in our life, particularly anger, which we are addressing it today. So these will help us to overcome the challenges, or to face with the challenges, or to find solutions to the challenges, which means we are empowering ourselves with these powers. So when I say with these 8 powers, before that we have seen that the soul has got some virtues within itself. These are with everybody. So we have discussed about that we are peaceful beings, which means this is a innate part of my own self. Okay, so through that virtue, I develop certain bigger power, which will enable me to handle the situations of life slightly in a better manner. So let us discuss each power in detail.
The power to withdraw. Um, you can all see the tortoise. Is the power to withdraw is the ability to disengage from the world around us. Now, when we visit the Shiva temple, I wonder if anyone has noticed that, of course, Nandi is there, the bull, that statue is there, but there is a smaller and inconspicuous statue of a tortoise very close by, near the door, near the entrance. And this tortoise is there because the tortoise recoils and retracts its limbs when it finds itself in danger. It withdraws. So it teaches us humans to detach ourselves from negative material world which can pose a threat to us. So, for example, one can retract our sense organs by, say, not speaking too much, because the more we speak, we tend to say undesirable things, and once we do speak them out, uh, mm, it makes us repent afterwards, and once we repent, we lose our peace of mind. So that is the significance of the tortoise in this picture. Now, there is a popular saying that ships don't sink because of water around them, they sink because of the water getting inside them. So likewise, there is a lot of negativity around me, negative emotions, negative vibrations. So don't we should not let this negativity around me to get inside me and weigh me down. This is like sinking of the ship to weigh me down. Instead, I need to get into the habit of connecting to the Supreme Soul, which we talked about just now, connecting to the Supreme Soul, and this will help me keep afloat in the journey of my life. Power to pack up uh, is the ability to stop wasteful thinking. Now, remember to travel light in the journey of life. This should be our principle if we want to stay peaceful. Remember to travel light in the journey of life. What do? We carry bag of problems and baggage of negative thoughts. Now, how do we get rid of that? We should not get into questionings. We should not go into what, when, where, how. No. Instead, we should learn to put a full stop to the past wasteful, to the wasteful thinking of the past, present, and future. This will help me remain light and positive. Power to tolerate is the ability not to be affected by external and internal events and to respond to those events positively. Now, there is a picture of a tree here. Now, why is the tree shown there? Because a fruit bearing tree, it weathers, it remains unaffected by floods, storms, droughts, and it still produces fruit. And in case we throw stones at it, what does it give back? It gives back fruits. So uh, the power to tolerate is to stay calm, composed, and ever giving in face of harsh conditions as well. Now, to cite this with an example, let me talk about the soldiers who are manning the political boundary between India and Pakistan called LOC, Line of Control, and it lies on Siachen Glacier, which is the highest battleground in the world, and there the temperatures can go up to minus 60 degrees. And in such harsh conditions, the necessities are very scarce. They have to do with very little. But still, there is manning of the border 24/7, 365. Now, why is that happening? Why are these soldiers manning the LOC on Siachen Glacier? It is because they have a sense of commitment. They have a sense of responsibility. They are patriotic. And because of that, they are giving a sense of security to the countrymen.
Thank you for sharing wonderful examples of each power. So the next power, which is even more important, is the power to accommodate. So as you can see that there is a sea, and then there are rivers coming into the sea, and then sea stays in the in a it accept all kind of rubbish and everything, and it doesn't change its color or anything else. So it's the ability to expand and accept the presence, ideas, and desires of others. So various examples of power to accommodate. One was shared yesterday, wherein a daughter-in-law comes to the family, and then she has to adapt herself because a different culture, different maybe different language also, so different people with different mood, people with different ideas. So the and she is coming from a different background, so she has to I mean everyone has to adapt and accommodate each other point of view. Similarly, in an office kind of environment, if anybody who is joining in the new organization, anybody who is coming, so there is a typical kind of culture of the organization. So the person, when he comes from a different background, he has to understand and adapt himself to the culture of that organization. If he refuses to adapt, then there could be some kind of conflict, or he may not be able to pull up with a job kind of situations. I have seen many instances in my own organization. So here, one example I cite wherein a person was very carefree and very careless kind of a. So he joins an organization. He assumes that he can come at a jolly well time to the office. The office time is 9 o'clock. He's coming at quarter past 9, or maybe sometime 9:30. And also when you used to ask him, so he says it doesn't matter. So and then he was always citing an example. Okay, I will, whatever task you will give it to me, I will finish it. So time and all doesn't matter. So eventually he could only last for 1 month, and then during the probation period we had to sack him for not being able to adapt to the culture of the organization. Similarly, I remember when we came into this country, so we were given the immigration here, so we had to pass the exam, the life in UK exam. So that exam basically teaches us how to uh, uh, be. I mean, we should be adapting to the culture of UK. So this is all about knowing about UK and various things which are required for us to know. So power to accommodate also is very important in our life, particularly managing the anger level also. So here, what are the qualities required? One needs to be very, very flexible kind of situation. It should not be uh, thinking that, okay, my view is more important. Uh, so here the assertiveness also comes into play. Flexibility is important. And one more virtue which is important is easy nature. So if my nature is not easy, so I can easily be in a conflicting type of situation, because other person may have a different opinion. So also we have seen in the political scenario, particularly in a democracy, if there are the two parties, one party is a ruling party, another party is a opposition party. So there needs to be accommodating each other views. If they are not able to accommodating each other views, there should be a chaotic kind of situation. So therefore, in order for us to manage any kind of challenging task, we need to have this power within ourselves. So this power gets developed automatically when she has previously mentioned the power of this tolerance. So when we have this tolerance power, automatically our ability to accommodate the other person's point of view increases. So we are just running short of time, so we are just doing little faster. Another one is power to discriminate. This is a very, very important power. Here you will find the ability to discern the subtle and separate what is true from what is false. Okay, so this is the power of intellect. So as we have seen in the previous slide, that wherever the thought reaches the action or into the words, the intellect is not there. So what intellect normally does, it discriminate, it reasons out, it find a way whether this is uh, justified or not justified, true or not true. So intellect has a very important role to play in this kind of thing. So when we meditate, when we go into silence, we connect with our consciousness. What is consciousness? It's the inner voice which always caution us whether this step is uh, uh, what decision I'm going to be making is going to be based on certain facts, certain my consciousness will guide me to do this thing or not. So here the consciousness stops. Say, for instance, if I am in the company of some people who are who have a stealing habits. I mean, they normally steal things out from. I mean, the habit gets developed. So after a while, if I once my consciousness will stop me, second time it will stop me, third time it may stop me, may not stop me, but then it becomes my habit, and straight away it goes into my subconscious mind by bypassing the intellect, because intellect has stopped working about it. So therefore, it is very important for us to have the divine intellect, so that I should always be in a position to get some kind of answer, which we normally call it intuitive feeling. Sometime of I get a feeling wherein uh, I am guided by my intellect whether to take this step or not to take this step. So this is the discrimination power, which is very much important for us to proceed in our judgment, which we also call it a kind of wisdom which we get it. So which will help us to take our which will help us to take our judgment power. Vanna, would like to explain about the judgment power?
Yes. Judgment power is the ability to assess the quality of choices, decisions.
Sorry.
The power to judge is the ability to assess the quality of choices, decisions, and actions in the self and others. Now, I definitely have an experience of that. I mean, we have definitely have an experience of that. About 15, 16 years ago, when we were planning to move to this country, my husband Sunil, he had decided on a career move, and but the question in front of him was whether to tell you a little bit about our life there. We were leading a very comfortable life. The children were going to very reputed schools there. They were in the middle of their sessions and they were doing very well there, very well adjusted, very comfortable, very good living there. But he had to make the career move wherein he had to move from one country to another. So the question before him was whether I should disrupt the lives of the family now and make them move from a very comfortable living to a life of hardship, struggle, adjustments, and challenges in the short term. But should I do that or should I not do that? Because if I do that, then there will be their future will be bright. They will have brighter, and they will have better opportunities in life, better quality of life. So should I see picture in the long run or in the short run? So that is where I saw the power of judgment taking place, and thankfully it did go well, and the children are quite settled now, and the power of judgment, I would say, is quite developed in his case at least. So that was a positive outcome. Next one, please. The power to face is the ability to confront and resolve external and internal obstacles, tests, and challenges. Now, uh, obstacles and challenges. We have seen the Queen. We have seen her life. We have read about her life. We have seen movies and documentaries made on her. Now, she was a legendary figure. What made her legendary and loved by all was her, one of the factors was the power to face. We know and we have seen that the uh, royal family has always had their own problems, like scandals, and they have always been in the news from time to time due to one scandal or another. But the queen has always maintained her dignity. She has remained calm. She has she has always had her not lost her uh, there was never an outburst or never contradictory statement. She always did everything as was expected of her. Now, during the last few years, we saw her losing her husband, Prince Philip. They were together for 7 decades, 70 years. Imagine you are with someone, and what she must have gone through when she lost him. And after 4 days of mourning, she was back doing her official duties. That is the power of face, and this is because of power of face, that facing that she could overcome all that, and that is why we are discussing about her today.
Fantastic. That's a very good example you have shared, Vanna.
Thank you. The power to cooperate is the ability to give attention, time, experience, and wisdom in the service of others. Now, the power to cooperate, rightly, we see these Ds, they achieve so much when they work together as a team. Now, this reminds me of my days when I was working in a care home as a carer, and we were taking care of the elderly. We had managers, I mean, we had a multitude of managers. They didn't stay for long. They used to come and they used to, but there is a secret. Let me tell you that all care homes are short of staff. They're always short of hands, whether they reflect it or not in their websites and in their day-to-day advertisement, but they are always short of hands anywhere you go. But this particular manager that I'm talking of, she was so accommodating. She was the living example of this power to cooperate. Whenever we were acutely short of hands, she would leave everything and come and join us, and she would give us a hand doing mundane jobs what we were doing. Being a manager, she had no ego, nothing. She used to give us a hand. We used to get the patients up, I mean the residents up, and we used to do the daily what about running around we were doing. She used to give us a hand, and then when we were done, relatively we were done, she would go back to her office and then take up the role of being a manager. So the power of corporate really reminds me of her. What this resulted in, this resulted in creating a very congenial working environment, and everyone was happy to go an extra mile for anyone else, and this really increased our work output.
Wonderful. Actually, it's a very good picture, which so shows that these bees are working together and creating honey. The result, the outcome is honey. So just to add on to it, actually, this power of cooperation is the culmination of, I should say, all the powers which we have described earlier. So in a office kind of environment where people work on projects, so this power is very important for any leader. If this power is not there, then the project work becomes very, very difficult. So you need to take work from a team of people. So unless we have this power to work together, and that comes only when you are become a living example yourself. It means you need to give respect to each other. You need to accommodate the viewpoint of each other. You need to ensure that whatever one's strength is there, you pick up that strength and then assign the work accordingly, and then you monitor it in a very friendly way, So this power of cooperation is extremely important in any kind of situation, and we need all the powers to demonstrate this power within ourselves. Okay, so this comes to the end of powers, but uh, another one thing which is very important is that these powers are available to us. It is only thing is that these are not activated. We need to activate these powers. These are the powers which we can draw it from our innate strength, innate abilities of the souls, qualities of the soul. So just one example has come to my mind is that on activation part, since I work in a bank, so I know for sure that whenever anybody who is not using his account for a certain period of time, so that account becomes dormant or inactive. Okay, no matter whether he's got 10,000 pounds there in that account, he will not be able to use that account anymore. So he will have to come and bring his passport and identity proof and address proof and present himself to the bank and then present his papers. Then only his account can be activated. Okay. So, and then he asked him why he's got inactive. He told him that you have not made any transactions. So therefore, in order for you to activate, you should at least have 2 or 3 transactions into the account. Then only it will become active. So he, which means the account, likewise, when we do not use our powers, when we do not use our powers in a different kind of situation when we face, so these powers get inactive within ourselves. Okay. So with awareness, with remembrance, we need to activate these powers, use these powers quite often whenever any kind of situation comes to in our life. Okay, so this is the limited purpose of my giving this example is that to invoke these powers whenever it's desired. So in the previous slide, we have seen that uh, God is available to us. Okay. We have seen that on the MOG, he was very depressed, and then he connects himself with that power, supreme power, which is a reservoir available to us. Anytime we can connect with that and get our powers activated. Okay. So what does it mean, invocation? Invocation is that I create a thought that I am a powerful being. I have this power of cooperation within myself, and then I connect with that. So thought has an energy. So this power which is within myself, but it is in a dormant form, it gets activated. So this is the art of activating these powers. So getting ourselves connected with the supreme being, and then we can have a thought. Since thought has an energy, it will definitely reach, and then I get connected with my inner being, and through my inner being these powers gets generated within myself. Okay, how much time is left out? It's we still have
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Hmm.
So uh, I would request if anyone has got a questions or anyone would like to comment on any of these slides or any of their real lifetime experiences, one can share it. Otherwise, we have 1 or 2 slides, we can cover it up. So, so I'll just pause it for a while and then invite any comments or any questions if somebody would like to have.
I've got one question. Um, as soon as I think your wife started talking about inflated ego, my wife actually gave it to me straight away. Listen to this. This might be for you. So I wanted to ask you, when it comes to adjusting, even within the family, sometimes it becomes so difficult. You try to adjust with them, you try to cooperate, but the ask never stops. So in that moment, what is more important for me? Just to keep tolerating that, just to be patient, or can I say no to them?
Would you like to answer, Vanda?
You go ahead.
Okay. So it's an adjustment doesn't mean that we need to suppress our feelings. Yesterday, I'm not sure whether you were there yesterday or not. We had taken up three forms of anger. One is aggressive way of responding to it. So which means if somebody is angry with me, I need to be tit for tat. So I will respond in the same manner. Second is a passive way, which is I use the manipulative method of using or taking the assistance of somebody else. Third one is a suppressing. So when I suppress myself, so I damage myself. So here, when it comes to giving my feelings to another person, it is very important that I need not be suppressing my feelings, but I need to communicate, which is in an assertive form to the other person. So here it comes to the question of behavior, which I understand. Am I understanding correctly? It's a question of demanding. They are demanding too much things from me, and then
That's
sorry, can you?
yes, I said that's correct. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Sometimes it's just a bit of a struggle.
So here, there are two ways to handle it. One is to respond to it in a very assertive way, so that I communicate my feelings. Okay, you're not expressing your feelings, you communicate it, but you should communicate in a slightly in a more respectful manner, and then without giving any scope for them to feel hurt about it, or whether giving any scope to them to feel mm, sorrowful about it. So I can communicate my feeling, but the end objective is that I should be very aware about that they should not be taking advantage of my position. So I need to be a little bit more tactful in my handling with this kind of situation and in my response to to their demands. So if you could share one example with me, what kind of demands they have, I can give you a answer to it. Otherwise,
No, I think this is okay. It's just like sometimes children, they become a bit more demanding and then don't try to understand how parents have gone through in their own lives and how we have adjusted and reached here where we are now. It's not always about coming from a background where you always have everything that you need, but it's also about sometimes maybe if I can use the word sacrifices that we make as a parent, and then children doesn't realize they just want thing or anything, and they just demand, and at the same time, then your partner starts kind of getting agitated. This is why we have children, but it's not always the case. So we end up having fight within ourselves then. So it just becomes sometimes confusing. Who's responsible here now?
So I think Vanna is more experienced in terms of bringing up their children. So would you like to say anything, Vanna?
I think one needs to be very frank with the children, and from time to time, in different manner. If I don't know how old the children are, but you can always share with them the hardships, not directly, but in a subtle manner, that what you went through and everything. Maybe that will make them realize, because that's what I have always done. I have made sure that they know that how hard it was at certain times, now that they have grown up. And I think that they should know that what all, as you said, sacrifices, those sacrifices that we have made, to make them aware that this is where we have reached because of that thing. So they should be aware of our past that way.
Just to add to that, children do understand. They feel about it, but actually their age is slightly immaturish kind of a age. So if I continue to be good and with good feeling with them, so sooner or later, maybe it takes some time. We need to have the quality of a patience within ourselves. Uh, they do understand. It may take about a year's time, may take about 6 months' time, may take about 3 months' time, but it's walk the talk. What we are saying, they are seeing it in their, and then they're registering it also. Say for instance, I have shared one example. When I came to this country, we didn't have a habit of washing our vessels or cleaning our house. Everything used to be, maids used to come to the house. They used to do everything. So equally, children are not used to this kind of thing. So then everything came to us. The load came to us. So we needed the cooperation of our children uh, to help us out, but they obviously were not understanding this kind of situation. So if the kitchen is dirty, it will continue to be dirty. They would keep demanding things and all these things. So I decided that patiently I will wash things in front of them, and then I'll clean the house. I'll do it, and it started registering their mind. And then they gradually developed the habit all by themselves. Previously, I used to get irritated, and I used to sometime tell them off, and then the entire the house atmosphere is spoiled if you get angry and all these things. Then I changed my methodology. I said I'll deliberately used to do things in front of them, so that it sooner or later it will register their mind. And gradually they have understood that okay, this is a collective responsibility, and they have responded to the need, and then they started cooperation. So this is the last power which we have discussed about, the power of cooperation. This is comes first. I need to be example before them. So once I am become example, then automatically my positive vibrations will reach them, and then the change will start coming. But need to be patient and having the tolerance within ourselves. So
But let me add here that it is not be easy being a child these days. I don't know the age of your children, but it is very difficult because there is a lot of pressure from everywhere, expectations from parents, peer pressure, tension, stress, what we were talking of yesterday, stress toys. So it is very difficult for them also. So we have to take that also in mind.
So the only thing is that which we have spoken in the past, that we can take care of our own self. Uh, it's very difficult to change people, but this journey is to get to our own inner self and ensure that how we take steps to transform our own self. So it's a self transformation journey. A few virtues which are required to overcome anger, so which we have already discussed. So I just recap it gradually. It's a form of anger which is all on the left hand side, which you can call it the progenies of anger: ego, anger, envy, jealousy, resentment, hate, animosity, disposition, forceful kind of nature. So these are different forms of anger. And what solution are required to to deal with these kind of situations is on the right hand side. It is mentioned that we need self-respect. If somebody is egoistic, so we need to come into our self-respect and show more of humility. And then anger can be dealt with by empowering ourselves through our peace. Envy is slightly less negative than the word jealousy. We normally say that I envy at his progress. So if I focus on my own self, be my own friend, or count your own blessings, understanding. I just read it quickly for you. Forgiveness and love. If I have a hate for somebody, so these are the virtues which were developed. Actually, virtues are spiritual muscles. The more we use them, the more we use this on the right hand side, the more it will be easy for us to become a positive person. So the cycle of positivity comes only when I start using my virtues in a positive manner. There are a few more on the next page, which is again patience, let go, self-control, show your maturity level, have flexibility in your attitude, stability in your mind, see the benefits of everything, and positive awareness. So this comes to an end of our session. So I would say that this is only a flavor which has been given to you in form of our techniques to say goodbye to anger. I know it's an overstatement to say that we would be in a position to say goodbye at this moment of time. But yes, if we make an effort, we know very well this is an acquired habit, so we can get rid of it. Only thing what is required is the self-discipline, self-control, and check and change, which the tools have been given to us. And then uh, it is saying that where attention goes, energy flows automatically. If attention goes to uh, to the fact that we need to get rid of this habit. So our energy will definitely flow into this, and then we all are in the journey phase, so we'll be able to, if not overcome, but we'll be able to have better understanding about our anger process, or the things which flare up anger. So once our awareness increases, our ability to deal with the anger also accordingly increases. So goodbye to you and goodbye to anger.
Om Shanti, Sunil bhai. This is Shalini here.
Yeah, Shalini. You can ask a
Shalini,
ask a
yes.
question.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, between you guys, like Vanna ji and Sunil, when do you decide as a couple and as a team, like say, suppose you have a different timeline and your wife has a different timeline. When do you decide कि अब इसको surrender करना है? Like, okay, now like say, suppose she gets up at 6 and you get up at 8 and there is a need, for both of you to get up at 7. So, and you try and, ask, change the other person. But when do you decide at what point ki it's okay, now I'm not going to ask the other person to change, or you have to collaborate, you talk to the person and then it doesn't. So when do you give up, or do you give up?
So I think you have given us a example which we had faced it in our life. So I get up early in the morning, and Vanna is used to like sleeping. So I'm early bird. She normally sleeps quite late. So I get up in the morning. So I obviously create a little bit of noise. It's not intentionally and all. So she used to get irritated and all. So I have understood that this is a trigger point. So for her to get angry. So which is not unintentional, which is not intentional, obviously. So I have taken this as a trigger point, and I ensured that she had a body need. She sleeps late, she wakes up a little late, so it doesn't matter. So I adjusted myself to the situation and then ensured that this should not be any kind of conflict within ourselves. It took us time because changing of habits takes time. But eventually, since I'm aware about this trigger, that this makes her angry, so I have ensured that I should not be doing anything to disturb her peace of mind. So I need little flexibility, need accommodating nature. So this all came to my mind gradually. So we now been in a position to accept each other that, okay, let her get up at her own time. Let me get up at her own time. She also accepted, I also accepted. Would you like to add anything, Vandana?
Said it all.
Sorry?
You've said it all.
So have I answered your question, Shalini?
Yes. But I think I'm just saying, suppose if there is a need of the family, said both of you, I understood your point that you understood the trigger. But I guess suppose there's a need for Vandana to get up at 7 and she gets up at 8. So, like I think as couples, you always try to tell कि नहीं ये ऐसे ही होना चाहिए.
No, Shani, that's never happened. I've never been late in getting up.
Okay.
That's why I try to rest during the afternoon because I sleep late, I wake up early. So resting during the day helps a lot.
Mm.
So one has to adjust, power to accommodate.
Yeah. Okay, because that sometimes, the habits, when you have a different habits that
Yeah, definitely, because we come from different backgrounds.
that sometimes triggers me. So,
It takes time to understand each other habits and each other moods, and I know it takes time, but if we are attentive about it, that this should not be any cause of frustration or any cause of irritation to both of us, then we can overcome it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've overrun. So thank you so much, Sunil and Vandana, for the wonderful session which you've conducted over last 2 days. Yes, anger, I think, is an acquired trait. So I think if you understand that, we know that it's not natural to be anger, and hence I think we need to take the effort. We need to take the responsibility to get rid of this negative emotion of being angry, being frustrated and irritated. So really appreciate it. I'm sure the audience has also appreciated. They've taken a lot of tools to how to overcome anger. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining today's session. And thank you, Vandana and Sunil. Once again, a big thank you.
Thank you to all.
Brought the whole topic to life with a lot of examples, which is very, very useful actually. Because that makes it more relevant, and then we all can relate to our personal life journey. So really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Thanks, Chanchal, for your feedback. And I think we've got a couple of feedback, very good feedback. Some has separately fed back to me saying that thank you, it's a great talk, it's very useful. They will implement a lot of tools from what they've learned. Somebody has just sent it to me and not put it on the group chat.
Thank you all the participants.